Hi everyone, I hope you're well. My name is Becky and I'm a clinical practitioner here at Star Jumps. And today I'm popping on just for a quick live with Dr. Georgie Siggers to tell you a little bit more about our upcoming talk in October, Beyond School Avoidance, Understanding Autism Burnout. And thanks for joining us today, Georgie. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we're really looking forward to and excited for your talk that's coming up.
Thank you.
So I think the most helpful thing for everyone to know really is, why do you think that this is such an important topic to cover? Because not everyone may have necessarily heard of autistic burnout.
Yeah, so I from my experience, we're seeing more and more children who are in a position where they are unable to attend school. And I guess, historically, we've thought of those children as children who are school refusers or school avoiders, and then newer terms have come in called emotionally based school avoidance. I've thought for a long time that there's more to it than that, and I guess for a little while I was describing these children as overwhelmed by school and unable to cope with school, and then through my learning and development, and through some studies that we've undertaken together, I've started to realize that this is far more than just school, and actually fit what the picture that we're seeing in clinic is fitting what we sort of understand as autism or autistic burnout. And because we're seeing so many more children, I feel it's really, really important that we increase awareness of this. And at the moment, it's not a concept that is really very well understood or recognised by health. So I think parents are finding themselves in a very, difficult situation, a very lonely situation, where they are at very significant risk of being misunderstood whilst trying to support, actually a very unwell child in many, many situations. We're finding, we're hearing more and more distressing stories where the system is actually making it harder for families and potentially causing more damage for a young person. And some of the recommendations that are put in place are actually potentially doing more harm. So I feel that we just need to get more and more people aware of this, and so that we can be making the right recommendations and actually helping these situations rather than making the situation worse. And then also, so I mean, I guess a lot of the children that we see are in burnout and they are presenting having reached that stage where they're no longer able to cope with day-to-day life. But we're also seeing a number of children who we know are probably on the edge of it, who are, so exhausted and stressed by their school experience that they are then struggling at home. And it's thinking about what can we do to prevent that situation from getting to a situation where you're then so impacted by this that you're unable to do any of the things that you enjoy aside from being able to go to school. And then thinking then beyond that of actually for any of the children that we see with more complex presentations or profiles where they have multiple neuro developmental conditions who I feel are really at risk of burnout, that we actually recognise that and can try to push for far more support and understanding for them so that they don't get to that point where they're even, on the edge of burnout.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was one of the things that really struck me, when you first started talking about autistic burnout, was actually when children do reach that stage, how long they are out of education for, the long-term impact of that, and how much it takes to actually get them back into a place where they're well enough to be able to re-access school.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, going back to our study that we undertook together, where we found that actually a number of children already had an EHCP before they reached burnout. So, you can surmise from that whatever was in place in that EHCP was not actually having the impact that we needed. So that child then went on to become progressively unwell. And then the children who then subsequently have had an EHCP or their EHCP has been revised to provide a specialist education setting, actually we found that they were unable to access that because they were still so unwell. And the system is very, because not enough is known about this. I think the system is very inflexible, and it's either you're too unwell to go to school or you go to school.
Yeah.
And then actually trying to get people to understand if you're too unwell to go to school when it is related to mental health is really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those kind of watching, are you able to tell us just a little bit more about what you're going to be covering within this talk?
Yes, so I'm obviously going to be introducing the concept of autistic and burnout, what we understand about it so far, what we know are contributing factors or risk factors, how it might present, the sort of pattern and trajectory that we might see in a child based on our experience, and then what we know about strategies that are recognised to help, and then what we know about strategies that we know definitely don't help. And then the sort of patterns that we see, because I'm definitely recognising characteristics in children, that the children that we see who are often the most impacted by this are actually children who desperately want to be in school and learn. And I think they're very, a lot of them are really at risk of being misunderstood. And actually we don't necessarily fully appreciate the internal struggles that they're having, when it really is a case of, it's not that I don't want to, it's I can't. So just trying to see that, see the patterns that we see, so that we can just build on that understanding. And then there'll be time for questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds fantastic. Thanks, Georgie. And who is the talk aimed at? Who would you be expecting to kind of see?
So I would imagine that it will be mainly parents who'll be interested in the talk. I guess parents who may be experiencing or worried that they're about to experience this situation for their child. I guess for parents who have children who are already in burnout, they're probably going to know far more than me about it. But I think that would still be, I hope, will be of value, because maybe sort of validating their experiences. Because as we know, the stories that we're getting from families they have very common themes. And and we're seeing many hundreds of children in these situations now. So I hope that there might be some reassurance from hearing about that. I hope that there might be some practical things you might be able to take away that maybe you haven't come across before. I think it would also be, and I hope it would be a helpful talk for other family members who maybe don't quite appreciate the complexity of the situation that they see, and perhaps an extended family member in. I'd hope it would be useful for the wider network, so any professionals working with children, but particularly teachers, other doctors, therapists, because we're seeing our children presenting in all different aspects. So they might be going to the hospital to see cardiologists, because actually one of the pictures that we're seeing is lots of unusual symptoms in terms of blood pressure and heart rate and dizziness, and so actually it might end up, and those people may not have information or awareness of burnout. So it could be really, I hope, would be helpful to anybody with an interest or a link.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thanks, Georgie. And just to let people know as well, a lot of us from the Star Jumps team are also hoping to be at the talk as well, so that we'll be there if you have any questions about any of our other services as well. So I think that'll be really nice. So for anyone that does want to book, you can email info@starjumps.com for more information. But also the event, in terms of booking a ticket, is on Eventbrite. So you can find that just by searching on the Eventbrite website as well. So we really hope that you'll be able to join us on the 17th of October, 6 p.m. at the Mercure Hotel.
Yeah, so look forward to meeting you there.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thank you.